play harder than them all night.
Yeah.
It's going to be a record. We're going to come in here, there's going to be multiple guys with 20-plus blue-collar points tonight, and then play with some confidence knowing we worked to get here and that we're the better team. Sure. We know it, they may not know it. And then have fun doing it. Think about how fun that is. It's coming. Here we go. Defense on 3. 1, 2, 3. Defense. Let's go. Let's go.
Nice day in Tulsa, Oklahoma, but the place to be is inside the BOK Center as we get set for second round action in the West Regional. And our matchup, the winner of this one, heading on to Anaheim to meet the Michigan Wolverines. It's a battle between the Bulls of Buffalo and the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. There's the bracket. Michigan is awaiting in Anaheim. And we welcome you to Tulsa, everybody. I'm Brad Nessler. My partners, former Associated Press All-American at Ohio State, Jim Jackson, former St. John's and UCLA coach Steve Lavin. This is going to be fun, guys, today. We've got an interesting matchup because we've got one of the highest scoring teams, as you heard Coach Oates in the locker room, against one of the best defenses in the country in Texas Tech. And Jimmy, the Red Raiders showed Northern Kentucky a little of that defense 2 days ago.
Well, this is what they hang their hat on all year. I mean, stifling defense. Northern Kentucky only able to manage 57 points on 37% shooting. You get past the first line, on the back line, the block shots come in effect 4.9 per game. So they beat you in so many different areas defensively.
These two guys were sensational 2 days ago, Lav.
Yeah, Nick Perkins combines that size as well as the strength and the skill to dial up from long distance, coming off the 21 and 10 performance. And how about Harris? The fluidity, the skill, he's that Swiss Army knife, gives you whatever you need, can dial up as well. Also had 21 and 10. They produce, fellas.
We'll check in with Evan Washburn, the starting lineups, and the tip-off from Tulsa when we come back. Before we tip in Tulsa, we check in, fourth member of our team, Evan Washburn. Evan?
Well, Brad, no player more accurately embodies the growth of this Buffalo program more than C.J. Massenberg. From relative obscurity to prominence, his story of how he got to be part of this team is wild. Right after Nate Oates got the job, the second week on the job, Massenberg was still unsigned as a senior out of Dallas. Oates got a tip about Massenberg, decided to give him a shot, brought Massenberg and another player to campus and basically held an open tryout for the two of them for one scholarship spot. Massenberg obviously wowed Oates, won the scholarship, and has led this program to a precipice of somewhere they've never been, a Sweet 16.
Tell you what, he made a good choice, didn't he? MAC Player of the Year and closing in on 2,000 career points is C.J. Massenberg. As we check the starting lineups, he obviously the key for them on offense, along with Harris and Perkins, who's the sixth man. And on the other side, Jared Culver, the Player of the Year in the Big 12, and he showed us why the other day. He's led the team in points, rebounds, and assists all season long, and he did it again the other day for Chris Beard, who's a finalist for the Naismith Coach of the Year award. Roger Ayers, Ray Natilli, Ted Valentine, our officials. Who's going to Anaheim in the Sweet 16? We'll find out when this one's over.
Well, guys, we got a classic battle see offensively early for Buffalo. One of the best defenses that we talked about in the nation against one of the most scoring offenses in the country as well.
85 points per game. Fourth in the country, Buffalo is, in terms of putting points on the board.
And Culver walked with it on the baseline.
You expect the nerve. Sometimes you get those happy feet early in a game. The adrenaline not yet channeled in. That's natural. Some butterflies, right? We can all relate to that.
Every game gets bigger. Here's Harris working the baseline. He'll get it out to Graves in the paint with a spin. No good off the window, and Culver with a rebound.
And that's an example on that defensive play by Texas Tech. Buffalo, you get by one person, but the back line defense recovers so well. Just takes away what looks to be some easy opportunities.
Mooney on top, down to Tariq Owens, trying to pack it inside to Odiase. 5 to shoot. Culver backing his man down, and a fadeaway tough shot. Got it. Wow.
Culver there with the size and length, able to play over the top. It's got a window to see through.
Harris to three. A little too strong. A rebound off to the Red Raiders. Odigase.
See if they go back to Culver, 6'6".
Mooney at the free throw line. A little bit short. Owens keeps it alive.
And that's an advantage too, offensive rebounding with size. Tariq Owens kind of seeking out that offensive rebound.
Here he is offensively on the baseline.
He's got those skills, that little pick and pop. Good look by Mooney in the two-man game, Jimmy.
4-0 start for the Red Raiders in the opening couple of minutes. They've got a good contingent of fans here, and they're making noise already. Harris, another attempt at a three. Culver snatches down the rebound.
And what you see with the Red Raiders offensively, methodical in what they do. They love to get to their spots, drive the ball to the basket. See if they can utilize that height to their advantage.
Moretti will try outside the arc. Odigase with the offensive glass. Now Mooney underneath. Got his own miss. And a whistle and a foul.
Now you go back, Coach, you talked about Culver being able to utilize his size, but recognizing it's one-on-one. And Graves, this is a shot you want, a fadeaway, but offense that time better. And Tariq Owens, you talked about the ability for him to stretch the defense a little bit. He does have touch around 15 feet.
That's in his arsenal. Matter of fact, more comfortable facing the basket at his size than he is trying to fight down low and bang with his back to the basket.
Norris Odigase at the free throw line, a senior out of Fort Worth. Got them both. 6-0. And the Bulls are 0 for 5 from the floor. Now they score underneath.
Well, that's easy. Get Perkins in the game. Go down low. A nice set, well devised and executed by the Bulls.
Yeah, a little misdirection play started on the left-hand side and posted up Perkins deep. But how about the pass right in the pocket for Perkins to catch and score?
And I like the fact that Coach Oates goes with Perkins early, not going to wait for the first time out. Get the big fella in.
Odigase making his presence felt underneath.
Another offensive rebound, that time by the Red Raiders.
And we got a push as Harris hits the deck. Let's take a look at enhanced stats developed by Google Cloud. Third highest in the tournament field with points scored at the rim this year.
And what that means too is that the ability, because you stay spread as a defense, you're able to break your opponent down off the dribble. Fearful that the three-point shot will be in effect. Now you're able to get some high percentage shots at the basket.
Massenberg had to give it up. Perkins is going to try a three. Rebound underneath, kept alive by the Bulls. They'll try another triple. Air ball. Perkins got it down low, or had it, I should say, and he and Odigase hit the deck and play on. We do. Culver behind the back. 4 minutes into the game. A 6-point lead.
A little mismatch inside with Odigase trying to get the ball, but good defense that time by the Bulls, not allowing that to take effect.
Good ball reversal as well.
5 to shoot for Culver. Just got it away and scored it. Four and a half minutes in, and right now it's all Texas Tech, and the player of the year, Jarrett Culver.
my king.
2 here. Texas Tech with an early lead, and Jimmy, that defense has already showed up.
Well, you work in tandem. This is a beautiful thing. Just keep your eye right here on Odiase and also Tariq Owens as we run it forward. A little dribble penetration, but yet you don't stay married to your man. You get outside the lane, and then Tariq Owens cleans up the backside. Didn't get the block, but he influenced the shot.
No doubt. He influenced a lot of shots the other day. Had 5 blocks against Northern Kentucky. Check in with Evan.
Well, guys, in that last huddle, Nate Hote said the first 4.5 minutes, we did nothing that we talked about doing going into this game. And while there's no metric for toughness, guys, he circled 2 numbers. 9-1, being out-rebounded by 8. He felt like that described how much tougher Texas Tech was through the first media timeout.
Well, they got Perkins the ball down low for his 4 points, so he's been their offense so far in the opening 5 minutes.
I like coming out of the timeout, too. Right now, run a set, put it down low to your big fella, get him involved. Buffalo 0 for 4 from the 3 here.
Owens needs some help. 4 on the shot clock. Moretti got it away and buried it 3.
You know, one thing about this Texas Tech team, you see in transition, and Francis able again to influence a turnover. What they don't do at the end of the shot clock is panic. Okay, so a lot of teams, and because you have a senior presence, you understand that the shot clock is going down. No need to rush. Let me get myself in position to get the shot up, because more than anything, keep in mind, maybe able to get an offensive rebound if you miss.
That 3-pointer by Moretti is the 3rd time, Jim, that they have scored with a second on the shot clock, so you're exactly right. Francis, who saw some quality minutes on Friday in round 1, out there right now with Culver, Moretti, Owens, and Mooney. And again, late in the shot clock, and again they score with 3 on the shot clock, and it's Francis.
That's a tough shot, too. Perkins fully extended. A contested shot. Give Francis credit. Good offense, good defense.
Harris double team down low. Cross-court pass is dangerous, but it's tipped into the hand of Carruthers. And Carruthers trying to weave through traffic. The extra pass. Graves, no look underneath. Carruthers is blocked by Culver.
Excellent rotation that time, but communication by the Red Raiders.
And that's one of the only miscues they've had early, throwing it away right in front of our table.
You know, not only does Texas Tech have size, but they have the length, which is as important as size, and then the good feet. So when there is daylight, it closes down so quickly because of Texas Tech's ability to rotate with the feet and get fully extended to use that length.
Well, also, Coach, here's the thing about it. They're always in position, so when they rotate over, it's only a slide, a drift, and now you're in position to either block a shot, influence a shot, or stop a drive.
Yeah, they're incrementally moving on each bounce and each pass.
That was 1 too many bounces by the Bulls. Another turnover.
I think it takes teams a while and often the entire game to get adjusted. If you don't play in the Big 12 and you haven't seen this Red Raider defense that's so unique in its approach, it's hard to adjust.
Moretti missed off the window. Perkins with a rebound.
And that's a credit to Chris Beard and his defensive genius, the different approach on defense.
Odiase trying to stay with Harris. Harris found the open man, though, and it's, you guessed it, Nick Perkins.
Well, one thing you have to do against pressure, you have to attack it, but you have to attack it intelligently. That time, you're able to get yourself inside, make a play by Harris, but then on the back line, Perkins is wide open.
Culver rimmed out a 3. Odiase with a rebound. So they've got a fresh shot clock, and now go back to Culver. He just catches and releases.
Nice look by Moretti. Texas Tech team is tied together, fellas.
They're off to a hot start and up 11. This season, NCAA coaches and Infinity are taking a timeout to fight cancer with Infinity's $1 million donation to the American Cancer Society. This is an Infinity timeout for the win. Learn more at infinitytimeout.com. During our timeout, we adjusted the score to 16-6. As you take a look at what Chris Beard has done with the program in Lubbock, and it's been sensational. Last year, a 13th seed. They beat Arizona in round 1, then they lost to Kentucky in the round of 32. But they plan on going farther, and the start they're off to, they might be off to Anaheim.
Well, it's never easy when you go to a football school to kind of establish the kind of basketball program you want, but having the support of the administration, selecting the right kind of coaching staff, building from within, now you've gotten to yourself where you could be considered also a basketball school.
Yep. As Perkins took it strong to the rack, and Tariq Owens fouls him.
Just building on that point, Jimmy. Also, he has a unique system and style when it comes to defense, and he recruits to that style. So the marriage of talent, personnel with the system of play is why he's had success at multiple stops, and most recently Arkansas Little Rock before coming here to Texas Tech. And that recruiting's a key, and he'll pick off a couple transfers as well, almost like free agency, in addition to the players that are growing through the program in a traditional way from freshman to sophomore, sophomore to junior year.
Perkins missed both free throws. If you looked at the score going to the timeout, said I thought it was an 11-point lead. The reason it's 10 is the three-pointer that they gave to Davide Moretti earlier. His foot was on the line, so it was a 2-point shot, not a three. Just wanted to clear that up for folks that might think that it's our truck's problem. It's not. Culver misses a three. And the rebound pulled down by Graves. I'd get it to Nick Perkins if I was.
Good call, Brad. You got a future in coaching. Get it to the big fella.
They kick it outside. Three-pointer in the roof. Off the mark and pulled down by Mooney. Here is Matt Mooney losing the dribble a little bit.
We talked about those transfers, Mooney and Owens on the floor for Texas Tech, and they continue in rhythm. Perfect basketball, both ends of the floor, near perfection for Texas Tech.
Deshaun Corprew with his first basket, a three, and right back to Perkins.
Well, the key defensively for the Bulls right now, applying a little bit more pressure. The ball is kind of moving at ease from side to side. That's great defense right here to see if the Bulls can capitalize in transition.
And we're going to have a foul en route to the basket. So Nate Oates trying to close that gap, but still Texas Tech with an impressive start offensively. Real questions, real answers. Join Bleacher Report's Taylor Rooks as she interviews the world's most exciting athletes and celebrities. Take It There with Taylor Rooks premieres Wednesday, April 3rd on the Bleacher Report app. Red Raiders doing it on both ends of the floor, fellas.
Well, coaches always use the term or phrase, make them feel you. And a lot of times we refer to the defensive side, which you see from the Red Raiders, but it's been offensively where they've really punched kind of the Bulls in the face right now. 8 second chance points off of 5 offensive rebounds. Real physical up front offensively and defensively.
So well deployed. You talked about positioning because of Tariq Owens, his block shot ability, and the team, the Red Raiders, 5 block shots per game, like a goalie at the rim, protecting, providing that resistance on the interior. So critical to their defense.
And they turn it over there on the inbounds pass that went off Harris' knee. So out of bounds to the Red Raiders.
Another empty possession that time by the Bulls out of the timeout, not able to secure the basketball. And that's one thing in a low possession game sometimes you can't have.
That gave it right back to him, and they score in transition with Devontae Jordan. Finally, somebody other than Nick Perkins puts it in the hole. Francis will shoot a three, and number 3 gets the rebound, and they'll have a fresh shot clock to work with at the midway point of the half.
That's the 6th offensive rebound for Texas Tech. 7th. Just gobbling them up like the Cookie Monster, one after another. Got to put a body on somebody and then rally to rebound.
Odiase using that 6'8", 250 to his advantage on the offensive glass so far in this first half. Seven on the shot clock. Francis has a look up there and drives. Doesn't get it to go, and the rebound out to Perkins. Again, loose ball. Texas Tech comes up with it. Lob underneath. Odiase's foul going up. Well, second round coverage of the NCAA Division I Women's Basketball Championship continues tonight on ESPN, ESPN2, and the ESPN app. For more information on the game times and listings, go to ncaa.com. Foul was on Graves, sending Odiase to the free throw line for the second time in the half. Hit his first two.
And Coach Lav, it's, you know, early on with the Buffalo team, I know from a coaching perspective, you're talking to your young men about stay the course. I know we started off slow, but it's the reason why we won 32 games. Get a couple of stops, let us run our offense, get out in transition, but more than anything else, value the basketball.
No doubt, and it's that tendency when you average 85 points per game, you want to put the foot on the gas, and yet if you push it and Texas Tech gets back as they have in this game and sets their defense, you can't force, can't over-penetrate. That's where you got to put some touches, reverse the ball, play inside out. Obviously look for Perkins to continue to go to work, and then you may get some double teams, and now you get better, higher percentage looks from the perimeter.
10-point lead with Odiase hitting one of the two free throws. Harris just not on his game like he was a couple of days ago, at least not so far.
Well, I tell you what, a lot of that has to do with the size and the rotations of the back line of the Red Raiders.
Perkins to the rack. Texas Tech 20, Nick Perkins 10 of the 12.
He's such a unique combination of skills and attributes. The stout, broad shoulders, the good feet, the touch. Picked up the foul there.
And Owens in some pain.
Yeah, but back, we talked about defense. And actually, just from a selfish perspective, I wish you would have gave it up right there to Harris. And the reason why Harris you talked about struggling with a shot. You give him a layup. Now he feels better about himself. The rim opens up a little bit more. He can get started.
This is the landing of Tariq Owens, which was not a good one.
Williams there trying to take the lob away, but you see the forearm, and of course Tariq Owens kind of light to begin with, then airborne, and as a result crashes to the floor.
And the officials went over to have a look to see if there was anything other than just a common foul, and I think they said, guys, no timeout, let's go to work. Gene Steratore, what'd you see?
I think we just have a common foul, the arms out, but it doesn't look excessive and unnecessary. The player is airborne and vulnerable, but we do still have to, create a basket, or, something more than just a basketball play. That feels just like a basketball play to me.
All right, thanks, Gene.
And it's always the tendency of a player up in the air. That's the first thing you do, you put your hands down. And a lot of times if you fall incorrectly, that's when the wrist, the elbows, things of that nature can absorb a lot of that fall.
You're right, kind of like a kickstand, right? You want to get it out and end up having issues. Better to land on the fanny.
Here we go.
Mooney will try three. Long ball comes off the side of the iron.
This is transition, but Texas Tech is back.
Nice move by Carruthers, though. It's going up. Jordan with a three.
There you go. Secondary break. The ball did get tipped, but it came to the right person. And that time, Jordan able to square up and knock in the three. Right now, the Bulls back in this game, only down 5.
Sometimes you need a break like that, something fortuitous.
Mooney.
Well, how about the change of pace, maneuvering in a manner where you can make good judgments, sees the daylight, takes advantage.
Perkins goes inside, draws a foul from Odiase. So Nick Perkins will be going to the free throw line when we come back. Red Raiders up 7. For 7 from the floor, they've sort of settled in now, and the Bulls have closed the gap, but a huge rebounding advantage for Texas Tech.
And here's what's unusual about this. Texas Tech is 223rd in the country in rebounding, and Buffalo is 5th in the country when it comes to rebounding. Make that 4th. So that's aggression, something they can talk about in the timeout. That, fellas, we just got to pursue the ball more off the glass, and that'll create some opportunities. Not only give you a stop, defensively, you clean it up with the board, but offensively, some second shots at point-blank range.
Perkins back at the line as we check in with Evan.
Well, guys, you saw a shot there of Odiase. He's got a laceration on his knee, so they're trying to clear that up and then clean up the rest, because you can't have blood on any of your uniform before you go back in this game. Also, listening to Chris Beard's huddle, you could sense the urgency of this run that Buffalo has gone here. And while they're known for their defense, he pointed all to their offense. Felt like there wasn't that motion that they're known for on the offensive side. Too much standing around.
And Massenberg barely touched it, Evan, to your point. He did get that offensive rebound, but he hasn't scored yet. He's the player of the year in the conference. Carruthers, nice little spin move to draw the foul from Francis.
And that's the movement on offense that you're talking about. If you're Coach Oates, right there was a dribble drop to the baseline. You force the defense to help you kick it out, make a decision. You have the shot. If not, you put it on the deck and attack. That's when the gaps are open. That's when you can kind of exploit this tough Red Raider defense.
Dante Carruthers, a 77% free throw shooter. Got the first. You can watch every game live on your phone, tablet, computer, and favorite streaming device with March Madness Live. Watch now at ncaa.com/March Madness or download the app today. Odiase back in there after they got the cut cleaned up and the uniform as well. Carruthers got his own miss. Had it blocked, though, by Culver.
That's where Carruthers just has to use better judgment, knowing you're the smallest player on the court going against one of the taller opponents on the court.
Kind of wasted 2 offensive rebounds on that trip. They only got a point out of it. 1 free throw. Odiase trying to save it, stepped down on the baseline.
Yeah, tough pass that time by Mooney. Maybe one more dribble. Odiase is able to clear enough space and drop that dime in there, and he can catch and finish inside.
The 6th turnover suffered by Texas Tech. This trip now, it's down to 5, and the Bulls can get it closer. Harris coming off that 21-point performance 2 days ago, and he's got a goose egg as well, and still does.
Yeah, that's one of those possessions. Why not reverse it? Yep. Get the other side of the floor, move the defense, get a better look.
Good look by Culver to Mooney down there, and that's why he led his team in assists coming in, as well as his scoring and rebounding.
And that's good defense by Jordan that time underneath. Didn't have the sides on him, but what he did is walled straight up and forced Mooney to kind of be off balance on that shot.
If you're Buffalo, the good news is not playing your A game, not even close to performing to your potential, and yet it's a 2-possession game, and it's a veteran squad.
Yeah, that's going to be on Perkins.
And I like the idea again here, Jimmy, but haven't moved the ball yet, going so quickly into a set defense. Tariq Owens moving the feet, taking it right on the stern with the chest. That's textbook defense in terms of taking the charge.
Well, and Texas Tech, guys, one of the best teams in regards of taking charges in the country. Okay, like I said, you get beat, but yet you still see a turnover here. They're in position to absorb the contact and take a charge.
Mooney's pass was going one way and Culver's body was going the other. That's the 7th turnover.
Yeah, that's where passer and receiver, just like playing catch in whatever sport it is, need to have eye contact, be communicating both non-verbally and sometimes even verbally in terms of being demonstrative and asking for the ball.
You just go demonstrative on us, Jim?
Sometimes you guys get very demonstrative, late at night in particular, when you're howling
Harris
to the moon. Werewolves.
Dante Jordan on the top of the key, the kick out. Carruthers, I think he got fouled as he shot it, but no whistle. And now Owens underneath blocks Massenberg's shot attempt, but picks up the 2nd personal on him.
Starting to see Buffalo get some offensive rebounds of their own. That's a way to creep back into the game when you're struggling offensively. Get yourself to the foul line.
See if Chris Beard's going to take Tariq Owens out with that 2nd foul. We still have 5.5 minutes to go in the half. C.J. Massenberg, the Mid-America Conference Player of the Year, comes in averaging 18.3 a game, and he's looking for his first point here at the 5.5 minute mark. And has it.
How often do we see this? Make a free throw, see it go through the net, and then go back next possession, knock one down.
See why critics call Claws one of the best shows on TV. Don't miss a brand new season of Claws coming soon to TNT.
You know, and Massenburg is the epitome of what this Buffalo Bulls program is all about. Evan Washburn talked about not having a scholarship offer. San Francisco was there, but it was dependent upon another player committing. When that happened, he kind of felt to himself that what to do. His senior year, he played on a travel squad of other unsigned seniors, and the opportunity to go to Buffalo arose. And you talk about somebody that's made the best of it, and it's the face of the program. No other than Massenburg.
And now he's on the board with 2 points. Still 5 minutes to go here in the second half. Go back to him.
Mooney on a drive. Owens got it back and flushed it home. Want to correct, Owens didn't have that last foul on the other end of the court. Either was court-proof, so he's only got one. Harris still looking for something to happen right, and there it is.
Uh-oh.
A quick strike.
He gets it going. Watch out.
Watch out.
Leads down to 2.
Harris has been on a tear of late. Last 6 games, fellas, 20 points per game. Been even better in the postseason.
Mooney gave up an open 3. Now he's going to have to hurry to get the shot away from the elbow. Off the mark, rebound is Buffalo's. The Bulls not being fazed by having been down 11. They can tie it up or take a lead here. Harris got it back. They bring it back out on top. 2 opportunities go by the wayside.
Been an impressive run, though, in spite of coming up empty on the last possession by Buffalo here.
And Mooney is fouled underneath before the shots. With 3:48 remaining first half. 2-point Texas Tech lead. Thanks. Those 2 looking to advance to D.C. in the Sweet 16. Here in Tulsa, our tournament summary. The higher seeds are doing well. Tennessee, great game against Iowa in overtime. The Hawkeyes came back, made a furious run at it, but second-ranked Vols survived. Here, the Red Raiders of Texas Tech and the Bulls of Buffalo in the West region, looking to advance to Anaheim.
Little fella enjoying the sights, sounds, and more importantly, popcorn.
He got the popcorn I've been asking for all weekend. You're too cheap to dig into those pockets and get me some.
Owens, tough catch on the inbound. Out to Moretti for 3. Wow, missed badly.
We've seen the Bulls defense turn up a little notch the last 7 minutes.
Well, to your point, Jimmy, only 2 turnovers by Texas Tech in the first 9 minutes. Last 7, 5 turnovers.
They've never been tied. The Bulls have never led. They do now.
That's the sign of a veteran team. No panic. Good leadership by Nate Oates in those timeouts. And they've played in grinder games in the MAC conference. Other teams have tried to slow down Buffalo. You got to be able to win at different paces or tempos.
Owens got it back and scored it. And 1.
Now back on the end right there, you see Culver not only creating opportunities for himself, but setting up Owens with the assist. Think about this, in the last game, he scored or assisted on 46 of 72 of the Texas Tech's points. So doing a lot more than just putting the ball in the basket.
Got 6 points so far today, averaging right at 9 a game.
Well, it's rare when you have a player like Culver that leads you in scoring, rebounding, and assists. It speaks to that versatility, a jack of all trades, exceptional.
Boy, Moretti and Mooney making it tough over there on those guys just to hand the ball to each other.
But I'll tell you what, Odiase making it tough on Perkins inside to establish some deep post position as well.
Jordan on the dribble, 7 to shoot. Spin move and a fadeaway, not quite. Got it back. Harris saw a little crease, or he thought so, but Francis took it away from him.
Got to be strong with the ball when you hit the hole against Texas Tech. They will rake at the ball, strip at it. Like a running back, you better wrap it up with 2 hands, be solid.
Two minutes in the half. Mooney on the drive, the kick out to Moretti. And Moretti's fouled by Massenberg. And there's what we talked about when we opened up the game. Great offense, great defense, and a 1-point game right now as Moretti steps to the free throw line. And he is a 93% free throw shooter. He actually missed one yesterday.
You didn't jinx him.
2 days ago.
You didn't jinx him. There you go. But you know what's interesting too, both teams have a style in which they employ and they play. They take pride in both of that. So you see Texas Tech kind of getting back into their defensive philosophies. Buffalo themselves settling in, understanding what their strengths are, which is they're going to make you have to recover, beat you off the dribble, get a step ahead of you. Now you get some open shots.
And another weak pass. Mooney stripped it away, and he'll try a 3 on the other end and got it. Massenberg trying to create a little bit of offense.
Plenty of time. There's no rush. That's the look. Go to the big fella.
And Perkins is fouled by Culver from behind. It'll be Culver's first. Coming up on AT&T at the half, scores and highlights and the latest NCAA tournament news. It's all coming up. AT&T at the half, which is a minute 22 away. Carruthers is going to check back in, and I thought it was going to be Jordan going out. It's going to be Massenberg. Nick Perkins had the strong start today. Only 1 of 4 from the free throw line though. At 21 and 10 in round 1. That one came out on him.
Right now frustrated with himself right there by not being able to take advantage of getting to the free throw line.
Impressed with Mooney orchestrating this Texas Tech attack. Good judgments, been active on defense as well, and then some timely shooting.
Culver on a fadeaway in the baseline. Tough rebound for Carruthers, who hit the deck but kept it alive.
And a great D by Carruthers by pushing Culver up off the block, getting him further out of his comfort zone and forcing him to take a tough contested shot.
There's Perkins on the baseline. He's going straight up with it. But it's strong, and Mooney's, Lab just said, doing a little bit of everything with the rebound.
Yeah, both these teams on those possessions. Fisher went down. Hope he's got the ankles taped. Good.
Roger says to Francis, don't trip me again, okay? Don't trip me again.
It's been a tough year for tennis shoes. Issues with the traction.
Remaining in the half, 3-seed Texas Tech leading the 6-seeded Buffalo Bulls by 6.
And a little strategy here. If you're Texas Tech, what you want to do is utilize your shot clock, game clock. It's a 3-second differential. You don't want to give this Buffalo Bulls team too much time, so bleed it down a little bit. Get the shot clock under 10 seconds, go into your attack, which gives you a chance, if you do miss, for an offensive rebound and maybe a tougher opportunity for the Bulls to score.
And maybe a 2-man game involving Culver, whether it's a high pick and pop or roll, read the defense.
Mooney manning the point right now, and we're at the 10-second mark. The handoff to Culver. Culver, the drive in traffic, and they're going to call foul on Carruthers, I think.
That's good coaching. Flatten out the defense and put your two-man game into play. And Culver, the go-to for Texas Tech, with the clear out, able to take advantage of the matchup. His ability to put it on the deck is what makes him unique for a player his size.
Jarrett's first trip to the free throw line. And successful, 7 for him.
Plenty of time if you're Buffalo. Texas Tech going to drop back multiple defenders so they can protect the basket, try and level off Buffalo in their transition. See Moretti and Mooney backing up here. Don't want to give up a layup at the half. Or also got to cover that trailing three-point possibility.
There you go. Yep, that's what you do when you get it up quickly. Especially when the team lays back. If you can get it up the court on the run quick enough, that trailer in the backside can get a clean look.
I like the substitution there. Edwards comes in the game, but it also slows down Buffalo from getting it out of the net to be able to push it.
Well, they're pushing it right now. Jordan trying to go coast to coast. One too many passes. Moretti stole it. And wet fly from midcourt. So a 9-0 run by the Red Raiders took them to this 8-point lead.
When you knew that Buffalo was going to make a run. But how you respond, again, it goes back to having veteran players on both ends, but Texas Tech able to withstand it and get back.
Check in with Evan.
Well, Coach, what was the difference between when Buffalo got back in this league game and grabbed the lead and when you went on that scoring run to close it?
Yeah, we got off to a great start. We were so emotional and playing so hard, and I think we hit a lull. So we know it's going to be a 40-minute game. Buffalo's not quitting. We're not going to quit. This is a great game.
We know about your defense, but what would you like to see on the offensive side of the ball for you guys?
We need to eliminate our turnovers. We need to come down and get a shot every time and get our share of offensive rebounds. We'll be fine. Their best offense is when we give them the ball.
Coach, thank you.
Thanks.
That's the end of the half in Tulsa. Score Texas Tech 33-25 over Buffalo. Look out, Evan. We'll send you the AT&T in the half after these messages. You're watching the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship. Statistics. 3-point shooting, 3 out of 10 for Buffalo, 2 out of 9 for Texas Tech, and Tech ended on a 9-0 run at the end of the half as we welcome you back to Tulsa. And fellas, it's really been kind of a game of runs. It was Texas Tech running all over them early. Buffalo made their run to come back, and then a 9-0 run for the Red Raiders at the end.
I think Nate Oates addresses the offensive rebounding, because not only does that prevent the Red Raiders from getting second shot points, but it ignites their offense in terms of fast break points. On the year, they average 17 points per game in transition. Tonight, we're not seeing that out of Buffalo.
Well, and here's the thing, too. With Buffalo, make the adjustment on this. Move the ball side to side. You shift the defense. Now you're able to attack. This Texas Tech team is very good when they're stationary, because that's when the size and athleticism pays dividends on the defensive end of the court.
A little overplay there by the Bulls. They caused the first turnover of the half, and they get an open look at a 3 for Harris. Not his day so far. Check in with Evan.
Well, Nate Oates is, again, concerned with the toughness of his guys. Felt like the rebounding margin is one thing, but he counted only 5 deflections in that first half. They like to have 30 for a game. He said, I don't care if we lose a game because we miss shots, but we can't lose like that, guys. And the other priority, obviously, C.J. Massenberg, 2 points in that first half. He said we have to do a better job finding ways to get him the ball.
That's the 10th offensive rebound for the Red Raiders. The rebound is the equivalent to the period at the end of a sentence. That also defensively is the end of a possession. You can't run if you give up offensive rebounds. That's simple.
There's an air ball by Culver. I think he thought he was fouled on the shot. The Bulls trying to come the other way. It's 1-on-4 right now, though. Massenberg trying to get involved all by himself, but he had a lot of traffic there.
Yeah, that time is a 1-on-4. And I understand the pressure in which Massenberg wants to put on the Tech defense, but you have to understand that you have 4 guys surrounding you. Maybe you pull it up, maintain your dribble, come back out. There's shots within the offense that he can get. He just can't get frustrated right now.
The long arms of Tariq Owens bothered that inbounds pass by Jordan. This time he gets it in cleanly.
It's a great point by you, Jimmy. When you're playing against Texas Tech, look how they're loaded up on the help side. There's an example. It was a block but Moretti was already there, ready to take the charge. The equivalent of 8 in the box in football. Texas Tech has 5 players that are aware of the basketball and helping towards the ball. Moretti just didn't have a squared off positioning. Good call by the official.
And it's going to send Devontae Jordan to the free throw line.
And that's another way for Buffalo to kind of get their rhythm, get yourself to the free throw line. You know, they shoot a little bit below 70%, but the volume part, picking up fouls on key players for Texas Tech.
They did a rough job from the free throw line in the first half, and ironically enough, Devontae Jordan just drilled that one, and he is a 27% free throw shooter. That looked a little more like his normal form, but nonetheless, cuts the lead to 7. Owens on top, 15 on the shot clock. Mooney's going to try to drive inside, lost the handle going up, but he was helped by Perkins to lose the handle.
And what a smart play. That time, Mooney was able to be patient, wait for the smoke to clear, so to speak, and then he was able to take off the dribble Perkins and get himself to the free throw line.
Matt Mooney, a senior, grad transfer from South Dakota. He's going to go to the free throw line after the officials have a look at the monitor.
Well, Mooney, with a lot of poise, began his career before South Dakota at Air Force, so seen a number of different styles of play, and you can see in his measured approach offensively, he really settles this Red Raiders team with his decision making and ball handling.
Apparently they're making sure who the foul is on, I guess, or a clock issue, which we've had a couple days ago. Lab tried to get the engineering staff out here and
what
on the off
happened with
day.
that?
You know, there was a breakdown in communication and execution, clearly.
Mooney with the first and got it. Delicious orange vanilla Coke. Really wanted to be the official drink for timeouts, and who knows? Now it is.
I give you 1.
Matt Mooney's got 7. And the lead back to 9. Here's Nick Perkins trying a cross-court pass, knocked out of bounds by Culver.
Even there, that's a situation where you can get to that same feed to Perkins, but move the defense first, almost false motion sometimes, just to open up the opportunity as opposed to loading up right away.
Well, I do think that on that play, with Perkins going baseline, the scouting says that the defense sucks in, and now that cross-court pass would be open.
Yeah, no doubt a good idea, but because the defense is still loaded up, Texas Tech, that's ideal. Never reverse it.
Called a foul on Devontae Jordan as he kind of hooked Mooney trying to get around to the basket.
One of the reasons Texas Tech is effective is they play at a pace and they play a defense. You see Buffalo now extend and they're going to fall back into their defense, but they unnerve opponents. They really get to the central nervous system, discombobulate, and that's why a team looks disjointed offensively, because they're not used to seeing it.
Discombobulated and disjointed all in the same pair.
A little like you guys.
Mooney has got the 4 points out of the break and 9 for the game. Jordan missed a 3.
Well, and just like right here with Texas Tech, quick shot Buffalo, Texas Tech slows it down. That can be frustrating on a high-powered offense who wants to get out and run, where Texas Tech is going to force you to have to guard them throughout the shot clock.
You go back to the end of the first half. This is a 13-1 run right now for the Red Raiders.
You see Culver utilizing the pick and roll, and I love how he waited a second to allow Odiase to set the pick. Now he can clear space. He drew the attention of the Bulls and made the correct pass.
Yeah, and even that back dribble to create a little bit of space, and at 6'7" with his length, he can play over the top. We talked about the tentacles or the periscope coming out of the submarine. That's the advantage that Culver gives you.
UCF and Duke going right down to the final seconds on CBS. Here it's a big run for Texas Tech, and they got a 14-point cushion. And they might be adding to it right here. Culver, the kick out, Odiase in the paint, had it stripped away. And now the Bulls come back the other way. Jordan just throws up a prayer and draws a foul.
Well, Texas Tech, one of the few breakdowns in terms of their shot selection on the last possession, but for most of the night, Jimmy, to your earlier point, they're controlling the tempo. They're dictating when they're going to run, when they're going to run their sets. And as a result, Buffalo just not able to play at that pace they prefer.
Well, it's all about making the adjustment and understanding that it may be more opportunistic at times to run, but when you get in your half-court set, that's when you really have to execute. That's when you really have to set screens, get open, dribble, penetrate. Defensively, they got a steal, was able to get out in transition. Those are the little adjustments you make when you can't operate at a high rate that you're accustomed to. Now you go to plan B, which is let me try to out-execute, Texas Tech in the half-court set, which is tough to do. But the pace is going to force you to have to do that if you're Buffalo.
When you talk to opposing coaches that face Texas Tech, they all say they don't let you run your stuff. So it forces opponents to play outside and in a manner different than they're accustomed to. And then in the tournament, even more unnerving.
Nick Perkins just picked up another foul. Playing for a date with Michigan in Anaheim in the West region. And right now, Texas Tech with a big lead and a big run that they carried over from the first half to this half. Francis just hands it back to Culver. And he's going to be touch foul on Graves. Boy, Bulls have picked up some quick fouls here. And we're already in the 1-on-1. And not even 3 minutes into the half.
Well, that happens when you're patient. You put some touches on the ball. And you get yourself closer to the bonus and eventually the double bonus.
I think if you're Texas Tech, this is where, from a mindset perspective, this is when you become ultra aggressive off the dribble as well, because you're in the penalty. Any bump now puts you to the free throw line.
I tell that little girl to cry yet. There's still 17 minutes to go. Anything can happen.
Well, when you're down 14 points, Texas Tech, because the tempo that they prefer to play on, because their defense, it's really the equivalent of being down 25 points, because they're not going to allow you to get back into the game easily.
Culver got the ricochet rebound. Trying to go score it again. We welcome those of you that might have been watching the Duke 1-point win over UCF. We're in Tulsa here in round 2 of the West region. It's the 6th-seeded Bulls of Buffalo against the number 3 seed Red Raiders of Texas Tech. With Jim Jackson, Steve Lavin, Evan Washburn, I'm Brad Nessler. Nice to have you along with us wherever you might be. This has been a game of early run by Texas Tech to get a big advantage. Buffalo came back and actually led by 1. And the Red Raiders on another run that actually carries back to the end of the first half as they've opened up this 14-point lead. And out of bounds. Back to Texas Tech.
Well, and just like that play right there, when you discombobulate it, like you talked about, Jordan that time on the pass, okay? Graves is wide open, but because the pass was out of his reach, now he couldn't catch and gather for an open shot. Scrambled, now you turn it over trying to get it to Perkins. You're rushing right now, and that's falling right into the hands of Texas Tech.
Scramble is a great word. That's what it seems like they've been trying to do this whole game.
Yep.
They just can't find a rhythm.
12 turnovers, to your point, in terms of the empty possessions.
This is what they'd like to do in a perfect world, is run in transition and score, but they haven't scored in transition in this one either.
Well, look at that. Even that they had possession, you had an opportunity in transition, but yet and still Culver was in the area with a swipe down and take away what could have been a transition basket for Buffalo.
You're blanketed by Red Raiders. Everywhere you get a touch, just not accustomed to being covered or blanketed defensively. And here with the switching, get the ball inbounds.
They have to take a timeout. Zook, thanks. Duke advances. They'll take on the winner of the Liberty Virginia Tech game in D.C. next Friday. Wow, what a finish. Buffalo here is struggling. The only points they have in this half are from the free throw line, where they're 2 out of 4. They're one of the highest scoring teams in the country. As you see, 4th in the nation, but this Texas Tech defense has just made them look horrible so far. They only have 2 shot attempts, guys, in almost 4 minutes of this half.
And Buffalo's compounded issues by forcing offensively. Again, blanketed there, able to get an angle and pick up a foul. Massenburg will be shooting 2.
Eliase picked up the foul. He's the player of the year in the MAC, and he has just 2 points from the free throw line. Closing in on almost 2,000 career points, and he has struggled mightily, as the entire team has, for that matter, today, except Nick Perkins. Now, one championship is true martial arts MMA legends Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson and Eddie the Underground King Alvarez will compete in their debut one championship bout on March 31st. Stream a new era Sunday, March 31st on Bleacher Report Live. Mighty Mouse Johnson, I like the nickname.
I like it too. And, you know, to continue with that thing, you think about this Massenburg Player of the Year in conference, Texas Tech, what they were able to do to the Player of the Year in the Horizon League, Drew McDonald, 2 for 13, 5 points. So the scouting report zeroes in on taking away the best player, the best options, and forces other guys to have to beat you.
Mooney working the baseline.
Getting deep into the clock again. Once again, imposing their preferred tempo on their opponent.
Already gets the shot with 1 on the shot clock again. Carruthers going coast to coast up high off the window. The miss is cleared up by Corporal.
Another 4 shot. Texas Tech use some more clock, but still stay aggressive.
They haven't had a field goal in 8 minutes. Buffalo. Mooney on a fadeaway guy. ...21-3 run by Texas Tech. Massenburg's 3 is off the mark, and Owens will clear it. ...15 minutes to go, and a struggle right now for Buffalo, a team that came in with 32 wins on the season. And Carruthers picks up another foul. Everybody getting in the act for the Red Raiders, including Davide Moretti off the window. All Texas Tech right now here in Tulsa. NCAA team with officially licensed fan gear for the best selection of team apparel and accessories. Head to ncaa.com/shop. They have had trouble scoring. This is the last made field goal by the Buffalo Bulls, and that was in the first half. And if you talk about real time, guys, it's been almost an hour since they've scored a field goal in real time.
Well, and keep in mind, it's not as though Buffalo is a deliberate, methodical offensive team. They like to get up and down, and yet you're holding them to 28 points and shutting them out for over an hour of real time.
They've been getting it up, but they haven't been getting it down. That's for sure. Well, one far as the shots to drop.
Yeah, and one thing you do for Texas Tech, one, you don't turn it over to allow Buffalo to get out in transition, and when you do miss a shot, you load back up and not give up layups in transition.
And they still don't have one.
And it gets to the point, too, like Massenburg had the open jump shot, kind of rushed it a little bit right there, got to the basket, but yet still felt a little pressure. Yep. So never at ease offensively.
Well, it's as though each player taking turns at bad shots in terms of shot selection. And it's the quality of those shots that Buffalo hasn't been able to find tonight.
That's a quality shot for Jared Culver. Mom and Dad looking on. Massenburg to kick out. There's a wide open look at a three, but still no good. Jordan will try one from the other side. Still off the mark. Moretti with a rebound, and he is fouled.
Well, you got to keep in mind, too, this Buffalo team, they shoot a high volume of threes, but they only knock them in at a percentage of about 33%. So it's not like they shoot at 38, 39%, but they're high volume. But what happens is they're able to spread you out. That's when they can pick you apart off the dribble. And right now, even with the open shots, not as quite comfortable. That's why the rhythm is not there, unable to knock in some of those shots.
Davide Moretti on the season is 88 of 95 from the stripe.
But also the frustration sets in. Right now, Buffalo with 9 fouls in this half alone. And so when you're facing a situation where you feel like there's a lid on the rim, now on defense, you know, you start going for steals, you reach, you lunge, you gamble, and you compound matters and put Texas Tech at the foul line now. They're double bonus from here on out.
Their season low in scoring, fellas, is 62 points for a team that averages 85. And they're going to have to scramble to get to 62, I'm pretty sure. Still, Harris missing in close.
Texas Tech walk it in to their offense in no hurry. Again, though, need to stay aggressive. Good shots.
Culver mishandles it, but Mooney gets control with 10 on the shot clock. And Mooney with a shoulder and an offensive foul.
And a great anticipation that time by Jordan to cut off the angle. Now let's see, even with the last possession, you know, by the Bulls, Harris got a clean look. It was a well-designed play. Now, continue to stay with that. We've seen in the tournament where you can start to make some runs and get back into it. It just takes 1 or 2 really good possessions to do that.
Graves had it blocked by Culver. And it comes free to Moretti. So another empty trip.
You know, when you draw that Texas Tech help, you've done your job. Now you got to pitch it, whether it's pocket pass, fan the ball back out, find the open man, hot potato. The math is to your advantage when Texas Tech loads up on that dribble penetration.
And Moretti is fouled on his way in the lane by Graves. That's Graves' third. Perkins has 3. Carruthers has 4. So foul trouble is cropping up now for Buffalo with a long ways to go as well.
Well, the patience of the backcourt for Texas Tech, allowing the screens to be hunkered down. Now you use them, you get yourself inside the key and either get a shot or draw a foul.
Double bonus, and Moretti, it's almost like just handing 2 points over when he's at the free throw line. You watch sports news without the yelling and the fake debates. Stream CBS Sports HQ, the free 24/7 network for nonstop tournament highlights and picks. Download the CBS Sports app today. Let's check in with Evan.
Well, guys, just something that Nate Oates brought up yesterday when discussing this Tech defense. He said they'll create situations where you think you have a clear path to the basket, and that's exactly where they want you to be. And the frustration has settled in. The last huddle, he said, you can control your body language right now. He doesn't like it.
The 2-3 zone. There you go. Break it down.
Harris finally a field goal for Buffalo.
Well, the ball was able to get flattened on the baseline, a cross-court pass, and now the defense shrinks below the free throw line, opens up a gap, and now you're able to wiggle your way right into the key to get something positive.
Took him almost 8 minutes to get a field goal in this half.
Also, that shot was on balance. He just stopped and popped and took an open one.
Odiase waits for the traffic to fly by, and an easy one for the big fella underneath.
There you go.
Finally got a three-pointer to go from Massenburg.
And that's the patience you talked about right there. Massenburg didn't have it, gave it up. Jordan immediately drove, sucked in the defense. The advantage to the Bulls, and Massenburg finally able to knock one in.
Yeah, you get 2 or 3 defenders to bite on that dribble penetration. The choice is not to shoot, it's to give it up to the open man.
Again, Odiase keeps it alive with an offensive rebound off the miss by Culver. And it pays off with a 3 from the other side by Kyler Edwards.
12 offensive rebounds for Texas Tech.
Buffalo's had such a great season, and right now it's falling flat. The wheels on the Bulls bus wobbling badly in Tulsa. Our game summary. Buffalo normally about 15% better field goal percentage-wise than what they're showing today. And Texas Tech hasn't had to do anything but play their great defense, and they haven't had to be a super scoring team because Buffalo can't find a basket.
Yeah, but here's a key. Well, the 13 points, second chance points, I think for me is a key because the offensive rebounds with 12, Texas Tech, again, that's how you control tempo. You don't allow your opponent to get out and run, but you get extra possessions.
Almost the midway point of the second half. Texas Tech looking to pick up their 28th win of the season and move on to the Sweet 16. Again, they work late into the shot clock again, and that's been a successful approach today, and it is again. Second 3 by Kyler Edwards in the last couple of minutes. Lead swells to 26. Lob underneath. That should be money if it's Perkins, but they defended it well. And Owens takes off the miss.
So many tough shots tonight, and that's a credit to Texas Tech, but Buffalo continuing to shoot those contested shots. Then when you get one open, you're going to miss it because you can't believe that you're finally open in a night where you've been blanketed all night long. So you start missing the bunnies, the chippies, the easy ones.
Again, down to 3 to shoot. Mooney. This time short. Odiase, did he get it away? I think they're going to have to look at this. I'm not quite sure. There's the Odiase with the offensive rebound. I think he got it in there, didn't he?
To see it from one more angle.
Right here, it's out of his hand. Yeah, it's out of his hands.
Oh, 10 points for Odiase. In his previous 5 games, his high was 4 points. An example of him just doing work. The hard hat lunch pail. Buffalo has the hard hat in terms of their program and identity. But tonight, Texas Tech brought that defensive mindset and hard hat as well.
So the basket's good. Odiase has been owning the glass. That last one, his 14th, a new career high in rebounds. Harris got an open 3. Just can't find it from outside. Perkins battling and fouled as he got the offensive rebound. That's going to be on Corpu.
And Perkins trying to kind of do his part, positioning that big body up underneath, anticipating where the ball caroms off at to keep or to give the Bulls another possession, another crack at scoring.
Perkins was most of their offense in the first half. He had 10 of their first 15 points. Here he is getting in low and having it swatted away by the guy that just fouled him, Corpu. And now the Bulls pick up a foul as Texas Tech was heading the other way.
On the swarming defense, you think, and Coach, you said it, you think you have a layup. It's 3 guys right there with an opportunity to take away that. And that's, again, the mark of a great defensive team. You may get by one person, but it's on the backside where the shot blockers come in at. It may be not just one-on-one, but it's that outside defense that negates those opportunities.
And what's remarkable is Texas Tech is able to guard the 3-point line, extend, but then also collapse like an accordion or Venus flytrap when the ball is inside. And that's drilled and trained. That's something they take pride in, smothering on the perimeter, 3-point shooters, but then dropping in and crowding, so you're never comfortable on your catches.
Speaking of a guy that usually is smothering teams, Carruthers, the defensive player of the year 2 of the last 3 seasons in the MAC, has fouled out. He's a senior, and as he headed to the bench, not the kind of day he was hoping for, and probably not the kind of result that anybody that's a Buffalo fan was hoping for. This is a kind of a senior-laden team for Buffalo. Their seniors account for 63% of their minutes and 61 of their 85 points, and all those guys in 9 minutes are going to be taking off that jersey for the last time unless something drastic turns around here.
Yeah, and once you get in these one-game scenarios, you see a shot from Francis outside and throw the records out the window. It's all about matchups. Some teams match up better with others. Buffalo would prefer to have a team that likes to get up and down with pace.
Perkins with a 3. His first basket of the second half for Nick, also a senior. He's got 14.
Jimmy, going back to your point, I couldn't agree more as we see Jordan extend the defense to pressure Moretti. See good pressure release there with Culver stepping out. A nice delivery. Wow, 2-man basketball. How about the movement by Moretti after he gave it up with velocity, cuts to the basket and finished his cut so Culver could pass over the top for that finish at the rim.
Well, how about Culver? As you see a jump shot from the side, finally goes in, another one from Massenburg. Culver allowed Moretti to get deep enough. He was patient, gave it to him right on time, so now all he had to do is catch and finish.
Yeah, because so often the offensive player that's cutting will give up on his cut just when he's about to break open and be able to get that opportunity at the rim.
Here's a drive and an easy lay-in for Corporal.
This is not the Buffalo team, obviously, we've seen in recent years. And I just think the morale right now is not there for Buffalo, naturally.
Off the window and a 3 for Massenburg. So a more productive second half for the MAC Player of the Year. It's not going to matter too much in 7.5 minutes. Here's the Big 12 Player of the Year on a drive and rejected by Massenburg. Going one-on-one with Culver. And Culver got the best of that. With the steal, the hesitation, the spin, and the lay.
Wow. Change of pace, the spin, the length to play over the top. Started with his defense.
The Red Raider fans are feeling it right now, and an offensive foul on Perkins gives it right back to the Red Raiders, and their Coach of the Year candidate, Chris Beard, fired up in front of their bench. Jared Culver. It's given Texas Tech a big lead. For the degree move of the game, and for Tyler Edwards, a freshman out of Arlington, Texas, that degree move is move outside the three-point line and bury a couple of back-to-back triples for your team. And with that, a 68-42 lead. 5 out of 17 on the floor for Buffalo. And Nate Oates, one of the hottest commodities in coaching, a young guy that in 4 years has done a remarkable job since taking over when Bobby Hurley went to Arizona State. He was an assistant with Bobby, and now a team that was 32-3 coming into this. Mid-America Conference champions, and they're going to fall flat in Tulsa. Season's got to end sometime unless you win it all, but this is not what they were looking for in round 2.
No, not the anticipation, especially again winning 32 games on a high coming in, beat Arizona State.
Culver, baseline goes.
Well, he's just feeling it now in the zone, and wisely his Red Raider teammates are looking for him to milk that hot hand, play through the teammate that's feeling it.
Massenburg rimmed out a 3, and on the offensive rebound, Odiase picks up the foul. And the Houston Cougars, another team with 32 wins on the season, most in team history, warming up in the hallways of the BOK Center here in Tulsa. They'll be in game 2, the number 3 seed in the Midwest against the Ohio State Buckeyes.
So excited to watch that Houston team play just what Calvin Sampson has been able to do to kind of resurrect that program from a national perspective, get the locals, the citizens of Houston back excited about the program, the former alumni.
You talk about National Coach of the Year candidates.
Yeah.
It's hard not to have Kelvin Sampson at the top of that
he's
list.
one of the 4, along with Chris Beard. So we got 2 of them right here in the same region. That's the first point for Graves.
Jimmy, going back to your point earlier about matchups in the tournament and the contrasting styles, and that's where playing at your preferred tempo is so key. And tonight, Texas Tech was able to do that. And being able to impose that on opponents gives you a real advantage.
And Massenburg missed a 3. Foul on the rebound. It's going to send Nick Perkins back to the stripe.
Oh, Coach, I think it's like you can't duplicate speed. Like if you play against a team that really loves to get up and down at a quick pace and pressures you, you can't really do that. And it's the same thing about this right here, 70 points right here, below 70 points in a number of games. And same thing with Texas Tech, because they break but they don't bend. They play the kind of style that they want to play, and you can't duplicate any of that in practice because you don't have the length to do that.
No, use an analogy. You guys know I like my analogies. Let's go with dancing. There are some that prefer jazz, others modern, tap, ballet. Not everyone can do all of that. Some are good slow dancers, some are better fast dancers. You can appreciate that. And Texas Tech prefers to play at a more deliberate surgical tempo, and Buffalo prefers that high octane. What would that be, rock? Maybe, or what would be fast tempo in terms of music? Hip hop. There you go. I'm leaving it to you. You're the expert in that area. I know the overall.
Electronic dance music.
There you go.
Well, that had a bad beat. And out of bounds, Texas Tech. And a foul as well on Massenburg. So 5 minutes away for Texas Tech to advance to the Sweet 16. They made the round of 32 last year and got beat by 20 by Kentucky. But they're going to go another step further and find themselves on their way to Anaheim.
And I'd be interested to get your thoughts on this, Lab, on the way the game is played out 70 to 40, 14. From a coaching perspective, what do you continue to tell your team?
If you're Nate Oates?
Buffalo, yeah, Nate Oates.
I think in terms of this game or when you go home?
Well, this game right now as it continues to go on.
Well, I think you still are saying, look, we got to be able to get stops, set our full court pressure, and try and get a string of stops or shutouts, which Buffalo hasn't been able to do. And crazier things have happened in sports, unlikely in this game, because there doesn't seem to be that spark. The morale of Buffalo has been taken by the Red Raiders.
The only run they got themselves on was in the first half, and that was to take a 1-point lead. And from that time, it was all Texas Tech, as they ended up going on a 21-3 run if you go back to the end of the first half, the beginning of this half, and they really haven't looked back.
And the good teams understand how to close out the half with momentum and then come right out in the first 3 to 5 minutes and reestablish that dominance.
Not let it slip away.
That's right.
There's a steal, and this will be a lay-in for Massenburg. Culver coming down 3-on-2, going to back it out wisely and use some clock. Not only a really good player, but he's a smart one. Never forces anything.
Yeah, and that's what the scouts really said. But he's, you know what? With the kind of game he's played, that mistake is okay.
Right.
Okay, but that's why a lot of scouts are really excited about watching him, because he's grown so much from his freshman year. From a maturity perspective, his body has grown, but more importantly, the understanding of how to play the game.
There's a lot of those scouts here today, too, by the way.
Yeah.
Three's no good. And a whistle and a foul on the rebound. With just under 4 minutes to play, and the Red Raiders from the Big 12 know it right now. They're only 4 minutes from Anaheim.
Duke.
All right, Adam, the winner, Duke and DC. The winner here, which is soon to be Texas Tech, gets Michigan in Anaheim. And the guy that's been a monster on the glass today, Lawrence Odiase, back at the free throw line. .68 senior, actually redshirted a couple of years ago after breaking his foot. Today he broke the backboards for a career high 14 so far.
Everybody has their part in winning. And, you know, once you get to that point in your career as you're older, you understand what your role is. You kind of stay within that box. Not that you can't do other things, but if rebounding, playing defense is what you do it the best to your ability, because that adds so much value to the overall aspect of what you do as a team.
So he's a 14-14 guy right now.
Zone defense here, working on some other things too post this game right now for Coach Beard.
And it's such a different zone, like every aspect across the board of Texas Tech. Starts in a traditional 2-3 look, but then you saw Moretti go with Perkins as he rolled to the hoop.
Right.
Good bucket there by Harris.
Culver around an Owens pick and gives it right back to him. This time the pass was perfect.
Well, you clear out the strong side corner, you run a two-man game, and now you don't have help when Owens is able to release to the basket. And again, the timing and patience of Culver to put the pass on time.
Yeah, we talk so much about coming in Texas Tech's defense, which is worth talking about, but today their offense, all 5 starters are in double figures.
In the last 9 games, now 10 games, Texas Tech shooting over 40% from the 3. So they improved as the season went along in terms of not only shot selection, but their accuracy of 3-pointers.
Culver missed twice in close. A 3-pointer on the other end. That's kind of how Buffalo likes to play. We're just seeing a little taste of it. It's not going to be in time to save this game, but that's what they like to do, what they just have done the last couple trips down court.
Fellas, I go back to that Thursday practice shoot-around here where Texas Tech, that was as well choreographed a shoot-around. It combined everything, game preparation, scouting, a little entertainment as well.
Change of music.
True. They had the Rocky theme song. They had some country western music going.
But everything was preached and put together of doing things as a team, whether they were a half court, they locked arms together. A lot of things were built to inspire the teamwork aspect that we all need each other in order to be successful.
Culver had his pocket picked and then picked up a foul in the process. You know, the Sweet 16 begins Thursday with Infinity NCAA tip-off on TBS at 6 p.m. followed by doubleheaders on CBS and TBS. And Culver's going to come out, and so is out Odiase, Moretti, a couple of seniors, and Culver a sophomore. Speaking of preaching, his dad's right there, number 23 in the jersey, as you see behind the bench, and he's the pastor at the Rising Star Baptist Church in Lubbock. And I was just kind of wondering, I wonder who did the service today. He must have had a backup plan, right?
He might have Skyped it in.
A fill-in guy.
He might have Skyped it in.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
You know, could have did it.
Technology.
Yep.
FaceTime. That's good call. Put it up on the screen.
Final minute and a half. Francis on a drive. Got it. Jordan a lot of dribbling and then fires a 3 that goes. When you look at their 3-point shooting at the end of this game, is going to look pretty good in the stat sheet, but it isn't going to matter at all.
29 points below their season average with a minute to go in the game. Buffalo is.
Can't take anything away from the season they've had, though. It's been a sensational run for them to it's going to be a 32-4 finishing mark.
Some guys go their entire career without winning 30 games. And Nate Oates is so young, he's going to be around for decades as a coach.
Well, they won 27 last year, 32 this year. Who knows what the future holds for them, but they're going to go to the bench and give some guys a little look here in the last 46 seconds to be a taste of the NCAA tournament. And a lot of fans wearing those blue-collar mechanic-type shirts. That's been their theme this year, a blue-collar team. And that they were, but a lot of sad collars right now for the fans out there.
You know, it's interesting, too. I get the opportunity to be in Anaheim for this matchup with Michigan. You're talking about an offense with John Beilein that really likes to have multiple players be able to move. Post player is going to step out, pick and pop. So it's going to be a really good dynamic to see the strategy defensively that Coach Beard tries to employ to kind of take away some of the nuances that are of a John Beilein offense.
It'll be an interesting matchup.
When I think Michigan, when watching this game film, be an opportunity to show the Wolverines. And Coach Beilein talking about Texas Tech's defense, the adjustments they're going to have to make. And where you've sometimes got to play concept basketball because Texas Tech won't let you run your conventional offensive patterns or sets, yet you still have to make great judgments within it. There's Jimmy Weitzel there with the hug, assistant coach, associate head coach at Buffalo.
Rick Owens coming out, getting a big hug from Chris Beard and the other assistant coaches, and this will be the first game all season long that he has not blocked a shot. He had 5 a couple of days ago. I don't think he cares. They're winning. They're going to the Sweet 16.
And sometimes the presence alone affects the shot.
Oh, yeah.
You see him out your peripheral vision. Tariq Owens is in the back, and just by his mere presence, he's been effective.
And he can also erase some of the breakdowns that happen. You get beat on the perimeter, but then there is Mr. Owens waiting at the rim for you like a hockey or soccer goalie, but with greater size and length.
Ball out of bounds to Texas Tech. And the bench is empty here with 32 seconds to go. Well, these Texas Tech fans came out in full force today. I don't know how far it is from Lubbock to Anaheim, but if they follow their team in the next round as well as they did here, it's going to be a noisy place.
I'll tell you what, they won't be driving to Anaheim. I can tell you that much.
So the sad faces on the sideline, including C.J. Massenberg, his final game, the senior out of Dallas. And the rest of those senior-laden roster dejected on the sideline, and their fans as well, and the moms and dads.
It's one of the more difficult aspects as a head coach is after a game like this where you feel like it's the end of the world, you want the season to continue, to have to address your team, put into context how special their achievements are, and let them be sent out in the way they deserve, even though ideally you want that win, much like life. There are days like this, and how you use this as a teacher or a metaphor for things beyond sport or the outcome of a game. And Nate Oates probably already thinking about what he's going to say to his team right now in that locker room, and in particular to his seniors, that last huddle.
Well, I find out it's 924 miles from Lubbock to Anaheim, so if you want to make the drive, that's what you're looking forward to, Jimmy, because the Sweet 16 in Anaheim for the Red Raiders of Texas Tech is what's in their future. The Culver family happy. Their son, another sensational game, but it was a well-balanced Texas Tech Red Raider team today. So the bracket looks like this. after this first game here in Tulsa. The Red Raiders of Texas Tech, the 3 seed against the Michigan Wolverines of the Big Ten, the 2 seed in Anaheim on Thursday. Tune in to True TV and TBS now for live second round games coming up on TNT. It's Ohio State and Houston. We'll send you to our studio for Capital One Tournament Central right after these messages.